page on the app. Thank you, Trish. And today with me, I have Leah McAllister. She is going to be co-facilitating alongside me. Leah, thank you so much for being here today and providing your knowledge as a leader in this work. I am excited to have you here with us.
Hey everyone, I'm excited to be here. I've missed the last couple.
Yeah. And again, if you're coming in just now, be sure to fill out that attendance so that we have you documented as being here. Our quote today comes from James Comer. No significant learning can occur without a significant relationship. When I think about December, I think about the importance of the relationships that not only that we build with students, but with teachers too. So as you continue to lead this work, we hope that you keep relationships at the forefront. We have some norms up on the screen. We're going to have the opportunity to do some learning today around some of our values. We're also going to have the opportunity to reflect. So you're going to get to go into breakout rooms with friends twice today to engage in some dialogue. And we hope that you are mindful of these during that time and our whole group time. The chat is going to serve as our parking lot today. So if you have a question, a hope, or a need, feel free to put it in the chat. Trish, Leah, and I will be coming back to that, and we will be checking it as we engage in learning alongside one another today. So again, not in a Jamboard, in the chat. If you have visited the Early Math Events website recently, there has been a change to its structure and the way that it looks. I think that it looks beautiful, and I'm going to take a second just to take you there. If you were in this project, you have signed up on this event resource page before. So we're just going to take a quick cruise over there.
It looks the same.
Leah, can you see my screen okay? Awesome. Okay, so differences that you might see are the way that you would click into the events. So we have early math professional learning that is geared towards early math. Some of the other events that early math plays a part in putting on could be characterized as being applicable to both math and literacy or any content area like adult learning principles, and organizational practices. So again, they're organized a little bit differently. Trish, I'll invite you to add anything in that I'm missing.
Yeah, happy to add on. So
Thanks, Trish.
Each of the courses that we're offering, like we have offered, say, 8 different adult learning principles. Adult learning principles is going to be a course that is linked there. If you click on it, you'll see any offerings that we have from now and moving forward. Same thing with the course of Meaningful Fact Fluency. We have 2 offerings that were just posted this week. And you'll need to go back just not to this page, but to that new landing page. This is, where there's Meaningful Fact Fluency, that third rectangle. That shows the 2 courses that are currently running. So the original set was, it was taking every event was on one landing page, but now our landing pages are per course instead of all early math.
So eloquently said. Thank you, Trish. Alrighty, so today we have our same 3 agenda items that we've had in our past month's learning. We are going to have a quick chat about our grant. We are then going to go into some leadership learning. And then we are going to think about the supports that we provide teachers. So from Colby, I'm going to put my Colby U of M hat on today, which I am very happy to do. Go Blue. the Cedar team really wanted to thank the leaders that provided teacher names so that we can move forward with the evaluation. I think that we had 11 leaders reach out with some teacher names, and we greatly appreciate the liaison that you play in that role. So thank you so much. This project, being grant funded, needs the participation of teachers outside of the project, and we really appreciate those of you that submitted some teachers. Thank you. After our last few meetings, we wanted to bring back the purpose of the project, just like you would think about bringing back a learning target to students in the classroom. We want to provide you with ongoing opportunities to engage in learning that will bring us closer towards our end goal. So I'll give you a second to read the purpose of the project. So again, it's December. We've had quite a bit of learning. You have had meetings with your teachers. You've hopefully been in some classrooms. And our hope is to have provided them with a high quality instructional material, that they're doing the thing, which is Number Corner, to live into the essentials and the values with ongoing leader support. So again, we're using Number Corner as the vehicle to bringing the essential instructional practices to life. And that is why we continue to come back to those two items each time that we come together to learn, with the hope that that is getting brought to the teachers when you guys have your monthly planning meetings. So in addition to jigsawing and wanting them to feel planned and prepared with Number Corner, we also want to build capacity within our teachers to continue to live into the values and the essentials. So that brings us to our meeting outcomes. I'll give you a second to read both of those. So again, we want to be thinking about providing support to teachers and then keeping the values and the essential instructional practices at the forefront of our work. And that brings us to our Connect. There are 2 prompts that I just put in the app while you guys were reading. We are hoping to hear from you on what is a workout that is going well for your team, and then what is one that is the most difficult. So if you head to the Early Math app, which I'll go ahead and take you there. I'm gonna hit refresh. Trish, do you see the event? Do you see the app on my screen? No.
No.
New share, we got it. What about now? Love it. Cool. Okay, so again, the app works similarly to Facebook. So I put a prompt up on the wall in the Essentials in Action Number Corner. And again, if you were in the home landing page, you would click into EIA Number Corner, and this would be the most recent post. And you can go ahead and click comment with responding with the stems. So what's going well for your team and what is the most difficult? And Trish has put the attendance in chat. Feel free to, if you're just joining us, fill that out so we can know that you're here. Carrie, I appreciate calendar grid is going well. And that number path feels the trickiest. Amanda, I love daily rectangle. I wonder if you want to come off mute and say a little bit more about that one.
At our last meeting, there was a teacher that was just like really seeing the growth in her student discourse about all the things in Daily Rectangle. And she was just like, I've never seen kids this young do so well with this topic or anything that's so cyclical, and how it just like scaffolds it just one little teeny inch at a time, you know? And she's just like, the growth is so visible in this workout. And then everybody else was kind of like nodding a lot, like, oh yeah, like, see, I see that too. And it was just a lot of excitement in our last meeting talking about that. So that's just been a really cool highlight. And that prep is so needed because so many kids struggle with their multiplication, you know, in third and beyond. And the prep for that is just really exciting to see where that takes them when they get to third grade and beyond.
Yeah, Number Corner does a great job of providing students opportunities to see things in groups before they get to third grade. So their little brains have something to attach to when they're thinking about multiplication. That is super exciting. Thank you for being
Right. So many visuals for those
right.
reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, the amount of visual models, that's a huge success. Is there anyone else that would appreciate coming off mute? I'll wait for one more. Thanks, Amanda.
I will.
Awesome.
Just we use everyday math. So it's a completely spiraling program. So our second grade teachers are astonished at the number sense that the kids are having. Like they and it's eking into other subjects, this grasping of this vocabulary. And I'm actually meeting with our curriculum director next week to put a little bug in his ear that this is working really well just for second grade. I can't imagine what it would be like starting from the beginning. So
Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. And it sounded like one more friend came off mute to share. I would be really excited if that human came back off mute to share.
It was actually second grade that I've been hearing great things from too. They were so excited that she knew I was coming in this week, and she asked me to plan it so that I could watch the day that her students were doing the survey that the student created. And so they were all so excited about that. And she was telling me she does like monthly progress monitoring for her class, and she has never seen her students doing so well this early in the school year, both with their fact fluency and with all of the variety of skills on the concepts and applications test. So she's just been really excited at the progress she's seen.
That's really exciting. And yeah, collecting, doing the data and the surveys around books, it's so fun. So much fun. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. I'm going to stop sharing, and Leah, I am going to allow you the space to take over.
First, I have to unmute. Hi, everyone. If you would, while I get my screen ready, if you're going to need a copy of the essentials document for our learning time together today, and access to the Number Corner teacher binder. So if you want to make sure you have those two things while I switch over to my computer, that would be great. So my computer is not cooperating. Let me try this. Can you see my slide, Jess?
Yes, you're good.
Awesome, thanks. All right, so the next part of our meeting, whoops, I don't know what that is, but let's move that. The next part of our meeting will be on our learning together. Do you see the agenda slide, Jess? I have two different things going on my computer. I'm not sure what's going on.
I see the agenda slide. I also,
Okay.
if you want me to share my screen, I'd be happy
Nope.
to.
I'm not sure what's wrong with that slide.
Yeah, maybe have Jess share.
Yeah, why don't you share it? Do you see that on your slide?
We're about to find out, huh?
Okay.
All right, one sec, guys. Alrighty, do we see my screen and did we see the connect?
Yes.
Awesome.
I don't know what happened to the slide, but I think it's on there in the slide deck. Anyway, if you could just go to that slide, we're just going to talk real quick about it.
Let's just, oh boy. That is a fun slide, huh? Oh, Trish is already in there getting rid of it for us.
So this slide that you're going to see in a moment, I'm just going to start talking,
Do
is
it.
from the June virtual training that when we launched the project way back in June. And we just included it today as a reminder of the 3 values and the 3 instructional practices that we were going to focus on in this project. And we've spent a lot of time over the last couple of meetings on instructional practice 3 on equitable participation. And so today we're going to shift gears and we're going to think a little bit more about value number 3. So you see value number 3 right up at the top in the middle there. And so if you'll open your document, your essential document, whether you have it in front of you or just opened it online, value 3 is on page 33. Will you go to the next slide, Jess? Thanks. And so I'm going to give you a few moments to read value 3, and then I'm going to invite you to add a word or phrase from the value that sticks out to you in the Menti. You can access the Menti from the slide here, that QR code. There's also, we'll also put the link in the chat. So as you see on the screen, we're up to 35 responses. We'll give just another moment for those of you that haven't had a chance yet, and then we'll talk about what you notice. Is there someone who would like to unmute and share either something they noticed on the screen or something you noticed as you read value 3? This is one we haven't really had a chance to dive into yet in our work with Essentials in Action.
I think I really like the word creative. That math isn't just a standard one way, that students can solve problems in different ways, and it's okay to try different ways.
Yeah, and so as we work together today, we're going to work in some grade level breakout rooms. Think about where we see that creativity in Number Corner. How can we bring creativity into the mathematics in Number Corner? Thanks, Bob. Anybody else? How about one more or two more?
I like the part that says mathematics encourages children to ask what if, to conjecture and then verify mathematical ideas.
Yeah, that idea of
At least for that
conjecture.
curiosity, and I think Number Corner does a great job of helping us do that.
I had the chance to observe one of the teachers I'm supporting this morning. It's a second grade classroom, and they did make some conjectures. It's early in December, and it was in calendar grid. Like, when's the next time you think we might see four-sided shapes, and will there be a pattern when we see those four-sided shapes? So even that, when you were talking, Amanda, that made me think of even what I was seeing this morning with the questions the teacher was asking in the classroom I was in today. And I think we probably see that in other places as well. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else? That center word never changed. I don't know if you noticed that, but collaborative has been in the center since I think it might have been the first or second word that somebody typed in, and it never changed. That word collaborative has been there the whole time, which is interesting too. Justin, I'm going to have you go back to, go ahead, Justin, go ahead.
I was going to say I'd add in the idea of non-math people or math people. And I think that Number Corner allows more students to interact at a level that is comfortable for them. And they then don't have the desire to say, like, I'm not a math person. They're all interacting at their own, entry point. And it allows them to think that they are math people. Or we get rid of the whole expression of math people or not. And so I think it allows them to engage. So that collaborative bit, I think, helps out with that.
I'm going to add on to what you said. I think the structure of the workouts helps with that. Kids see that structure, especially like calendar grid. The calendar markers change, the patterns change, but there's a structure there that kids start to see that structure. And so even students who may not feel super comfortable sharing at first, over time, I think the structure helps. Thanks for sharing that. We are going to go into some breakout rooms, and the directions are on the slide for what we're going to do. We're going to really think a little more deeply about value 3. And we're going to do that by taking a look at the workouts in January, because our meetings that are coming up this month will be to help our teachers plan for January. We're going to invite you in a moment to choose a breakout room by grade level. Try to keep the rooms, there's several rooms for each grade level. So try to keep it to like 4 or 5. If you notice one room's getting a little bit full, just go to the next one down on the list when you choose your room. And we're going to invite you to choose as a group, to choose a workout for January. think about a workout other than calendar grid or calendar collector. We've spent a lot of time over the last couple of months in our learning on those workouts. So if you want to choose something other than either of those, that would be great. We'd like you to each take a moment just to read the workout for January, that overview at the front of the month. And then once everybody's had a chance to read it, talk about what the math focus is for January for that workout. So if you choose daily rectangle, you may all want to turn off your cameras for a moment, read it, turn them back on, have a conversation about what the math focus is for the month of January. Then what we'd like you to do is take a look at the key questions from the workout that you chose and think about, is there one or two questions that could be used to promote sense making and problem solving, those ideas that you saw in value 3 when you just had a chance to read it. And then talk about how will you have students engage in the question, and have each person go around and share their question and why they chose it. This is a lot of directions. And so if you go to the app and you go to the event resources for Essentials in Action, Jess is there, you're going to see it says key questions open table. Jess also put a link in the chat. That key questions open table, we're going to use the open table in a little bit for the organize and integrate part of our learning together. But you'll notice it says explore and discover directions. And the slide that you just saw on Jess's screen is right at the top of those directions. What questions do you have? I know that was a lot of directions. We're going to give you about 12 minutes to do that. Because it's going to take you some time to decide on a workout, read the workout, and then focus your discussion really on those key questions and how we can leverage those key questions to bring value 3 to life in our classrooms. Okay, I'm going to open the room so you should be able to see the rooms and choose a grade level that you would like to work with. If you need help getting to a breakout room, just let us know and we can always send you to the grade level you need to go to.
I'm going to move some of the second grade people into different rooms.
Yes, Trish, I was going to do that. That would be great.
I'm just kind of hanging out here. I figured I'd wait and watch and see the numbers because I really have not been able to get into any of our districts that are using it really. So if there's a space where it makes sense to send an extra person, I'm happy to do that. Or
It looks like third grade only has 2 friends. They might appreciate another voice in there.
I will join third
It
grade.
looks like
then.
first grade too only has 2 friends. Or kindergarten with Heidi.
I have seen a first grade lesson once this year, so I'll go to the first grade
There you
then.
go.
At least I've seen that.
Thanks,
I
Dawn.
can't hear you, Amber.
Yeah, no one went to 5th grade.
Kelly, you
Len,
want to go to
yeah,
first
Amber,
grade?
You need something?
Kelly would like to go to first grade.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, Amber. Oh, it looks like did you already click on it? Because it shows you, I can move you there. When you finish typing your response, take a moment to look through some of the others. There's so many great ideas being shared in this document. As a few of you are finishing up your thoughts in the open table and making some connections between those key questions and number corner and value 3, is there, I would love to just invite anyone who would like to come off mute and share your thinking with us, or the thinking that maybe some thinking that was shared in your group when you talked about those key questions in value 3.
I can share, Leah.
Thanks, Marianne.
Yep. We were looking at grade 3. Sorry, I have a million tabs open. Grade 3, computational fluency, multiplying by 10 and 5. And the key question was, if you skip count by blank, will you ever land on blank? And so we were talking about how it really helps them make a generalization about the pattern and make sense of the mathematics.
Yeah. Nice connection to the math practices, not only the values, but the math practices
Right.
as well. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? To wrap up, I think I'll share one that I see on here that connects right back to where we started with the Menti earlier. That word collaborative was in the center of our Menti pretty much the whole time you were typing words and phrases, and somebody put in the open table, the questions allow for students to be collaborative while making sense of the mathematics. And I see lots of the word intentional in the open table as well. And so I think really being intentional about those questions that we ask kids can really help us to position them as mathematical thinkers and doers, and engage them in making sense of problems and problem solving. So thank you for engaging with us today a little bit around value 3. It was nice to dive into value 3 a little bit, because it's one we haven't had a chance to really think about through this project yet.
Thanks, Leah.
Thank you.
And that brings us to our last chunk of time together, which is to think about the ongoing leader support and the role that we play in having teachers lift the values and essentials into their classrooms. So just as an update, you guys have got the event resource page, like the Essentials in Action resource page. The updated items for the month are in there. Prior to this meeting, the December newsletter was sent out to our principals. So again, this is a tool that can be used to engage in dialogue with the principal. The back page, if you were to be able to see the second page, is all about what happens in each grade level throughout the month of December. So that went out to the principals that we have contact information for. And we are going to start off our time together. I mentioned earlier that we are going to get to reflect in our roles as leaders. So take a second. We are going to take 2 minutes to turn our cameras off and just jot down some things that you would appreciate reflecting on with other leaders. So one example might be as specific as a specific day in Number Corner. Like, I have a teacher that's really struggling with an upcoming day. Another possibility could be, I'm really struggling to keep my leader meetings under an hour, and that's how much time I have with my teachers. Those are 2 options out of probably a billion. So we're just gonna turn our cameras off for 2 minutes, write down everything that you would appreciate thinking through with some other leaders. What questions might you have about the next 2 minutes? Alrighty, turn those cameras off. I'm here if you need anything. Take about 30 more seconds. And I will know you have jotted some stuff down when I can see some faces. Awesome. Okay, so you currently have a bunch of stuff that you could reflect on with some other leaders. I am going to provide a structure, and then we're going to think into narrower buckets of where we're going to go in breakout rooms to engage in dialogue with friends. So you are going to have the opportunity to sit alongside some other leaders and think through this structured protocol of here's what, so what, now what. So in a second, I'm going to share a slide deck. If you might already have it open, if you are in our resource page, it is already in there. But your role is to put one thing that you're struggling with, the meaningfulness to the project, and then your team is going to prompt, paraphrase, and pose some questions to you to help you come up with a possible solution. So again, the purpose of this time is to have the opportunity to reflect and do it in a structure that moves us to a space of having an action step. So we are going to think in, 3 different buckets today. One, I'm hoping that you might be thinking about leader meetings. 2, reflecting on supporting educators. That might look like I'm struggling to get into classrooms. And 3, being number corner problem solving. So that might mean I have a teacher that's really struggling with the number path. Can I have some help on this? So again, in a second, I'm going to have you put in chat which bucket would support you the most. So reflect on leader meetings is going to be 1. Reflect on supporting educators is going to be 2. And number corner problem solving is going to be 3. As you compare what you want to reflect on into one of these buckets, feel free to put it in the chat. And that is going to determine how we get some breakout rooms going. Leah, what do you see the most of?
Looks like she needs a lot of room, 2s.
A lot of 2s. Awesome.
Maybe 1, 3.
Any 1s?
I see 1. So far, 2
1.
1s. Yeah, a
Oh, I
couple
think I see
1s.
2 1s. Okay.
Yep.
So while Leah does our breakout rooms, I'm just gonna go ahead and take you guys to the slide deck that you will have access to. So whatever breakout room you are in, and it looks like a lot of you are already there. The first slide is the structure, like it's the process. The second slide has an example. Again, your role when you get into that breakout room is to fill out one thing, one bullet item of something that you're struggling with, your neediest item. You are then going to have the opportunity to engage in dialogue with the other leaders to move you towards a possible solution or action step. Trish, what feels unclear about my process here, if anything?
I'm wondering, when I get to my breakout room, do I pick any slide to type on, or?
Yeah, we're gonna pick the slide of the breakout room that we're in +1. So if you were in breakout room number 1, you're gonna get slide 2. Or sorry, +2. So if you're in breakout room number 1, you're gonna get slide 3. If you're in breakout room number 2, you're gonna get slide 4. Does that make sense?
It
We're doing
doesn't
some
seem like
math.
a function machine that I just was watching on one of the overviews. I think it was a 4th grade overview that I watched. Seems just like a function machine. Add
I
two.
love it.
I do have
Yeah.
a clarification. So if there are several of us in the same breakout room, we would have several things on the same slide.
Yep, yeah. So the hope is that there's about 3 people in a breakout room and you 3 are going to each put one thing on the slide. A collaborative space. Leah, are our breakout rooms ready to go?
Yep. So what I did is I named them. So there's one room that says reflect on leader learning, and then there's 6 or 7 that say supporting educators, and then there's one that says problem solving, which was number 3. That makes
Sounds
sense.
great.
So
Yeah.
everybody can just choose the one that they chose. And again, we'll try to keep it to about no more than 5 people. How long do you want, Jess? I can open them if you just let me know the time.
We are going to go for 20 minutes.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So that you have a lot of time to problem solve with other leaders in this space. So if you guys get through one, feel free to make a copy of the slide and go through a second problem of practice. My hunch is that you'll get through one, but I could be wrong. One apiece, that is.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm going to open them up. And then you'll just be able to.
Happy chatting, friends.
No, wait a minute. Let me try that again. Now you should see them.
Are there any with more than 5 people? Yeah. No. Can one of you guys be in charge of finding the link for the Google form for me? Welcome back, friends. We hope that that was a productive use of your time. And before we move into our next steps, I wonder if we could hear out from a few people. You can either share your own problem of practice and what your group supported you in, or a friend's that you think they would be okay with sharing.
I'll share.
Thanks, Justin.
So we had, the 3 of us talked, and my other 2 comrades there kind of had the same idea of trying to find the balance of all the priorities that were going on with their teachers. Their teachers were working on Number Corner, and we have new pilots or new items that they're piloting, or just finding the balance of all the other commitments that they have. And I think we had really good discussion about how positive and hardworking that their group, their teachers that they're working with are. They really seem to want to take on the challenge, and it's like, so their mindset is there. Mentally, they're ready to go, and they're ready to take on that challenge. And so the I guess next steps, a possible solution would be just making sure that the teachers are understanding that we're giving them the positive supports, we're giving them some feedback, showing them that they're making a difference, showing that and they're moving the needle in the right direction, and just kind of keep that momentum going, so that that the participants know that they're doing the right thing, and just knowing that they're making that difference, and we can show that they should keep going.
Yeah, you mentioned two really important things. One is that teachers have a ton on their plates, and doing this project is something extra. And the other thing that you said that really stood out to me was that it's our job to walk alongside them and highlight the positive work that they're doing. So they're embracing something new. They're working really hard to continue to do the right thing for kids and trying their best. And we sit in a privileged space to highlight that work that they're doing. And if we can continue to do that work as a state, we hope that it translates back into classrooms for positive efficacy for kids in mathematics. Thanks, Justin. How about one more?
I'll add on to Justin's a little bit, I think, and that's from the perspective of one of the things that we've been trying to do in our county is then ask questions about how we can make connections to those other things that might be pulling on their plate with this project. And so that's one of the strategies I've been trying to use, is to think about, so how does this connect to the work that you're doing in this space? And how does this connect, so that we can then talk with the teachers about how these aren't separate things, but things that can be supportive of one another. And I'm not going to claim that we're perfect at doing that, but it's been a strategy that seems to be helpful to create at least have the teachers feel like there's some common messages that are coming their way, rather than, 5 separate things all the time.
Dana, I'm so glad that this is recorded so we can share that with Allison Fox Resnick, because I think she would love it, as would our friends at Organizational Practices. Teachers have a lot on their plates, and it's our role to make the connections for them. So sitting in the spaces that some of us sit in at ISDs and as district coaches, teachers are engaged in a lot of professional development for a lot of different things. And the more connections that we can make to them or for them in this work, the better off that they are going to be, we are going to be, and the kids are going to be. So thank you for being so intentional about not thinking about Number Corner in isolation. Appreciate that. It is 3:53. And that brings us to thinking about our next steps. So in looking at the slide deck, it looks like many of us got to a next step, or we're rumbling with getting there. Your role throughout the next month is to think into that next step. So if you're struggling with getting into classrooms, and the people that you were in a breakout room with nudged you into a few new spaces, our hope is that you try that on. You just give me like a thumbs up if that makes sense or feels good. Thank you. Our next leader meeting is Thursday, January 11th at the same time. And we are going to give you the last 5 minutes to fill out a Google form that one of my friends is going to put in the chat. Leah, thank you so much. Your feedback is really important to drive our work forward. We want to make sure that we're meeting your needs and supporting you in a way that is going to help you support teachers. And as always, you can find us on the Early Math app via email, but we appreciate questions going out to the group because a lot of times many of us have the same question, as well as seeing things that are happening in the classroom. So when you get your follow-up to this email, you are also going to get a schedule that you can sign up for a visit from myself or one of our Early Math team members. We are looking to capture some footage, pictures for the app, and we would love to come for a visit to see what's happening. Big shout out to our Newaygo team for allowing me to come for a visit. That was a lot of fun. We're there to support you and walk alongside you. Is that form working? Can I get a thumbs up that you guys can get? Cool. Thank you for being here today. I hope you get to get outside while the sunlight is still kind of out, I guess, depending on what side of the state you are on. Thanks, Marianne. Have a good night. Thanks, Danielle. Thanks, Meg.